welcome to Astrology with Erin. I'm your astrologer, Erin, and in this video, I'll be sharing your July 2026 horoscopes for all 12 rising signs. July may be the most important astrological month of 2026. A rare series of alignments connects Jupiter in Leo, Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries, and Pluto in Aquarius, creating a larger pattern that will shape not only this month, but much of the collective atmosphere of the years ahead. Early in the month, Mars conjoins Uranus in Gemini, activating this pattern and bringing sudden developments, breakthroughs, and unexpected changes. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon invites us to reconnect with our foundations and consider what truly supports us as the future begins to take shape. Then, at the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon, closely aligned with Pluto, highlights themes of collective change, personal transformation, and the role each of us plays in the larger story unfolding around us. If you'd like a deeper breakdown of the astrology of July, be sure to check out my fall July 2026 astrology forecast recorded with my friend and colleague Anita Ashland over on Awakening Airwaves. Anita is a Jungian writer working at the intersection of Hellenistic astrology and depth psychology, and together we explore many of the deeper themes behind this month's astrology. I'll put the link in the description box below, and definitely check out the amazing group of healers and practitioners featured on that channel as well. Before we get started, if you enjoy this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support really helps me continue growing this channel and sharing this work with more people. As always, these horoscopes are written from the perspective of the rising sign because the rising sign sets the whole sign house framework that shows where these transits are unfolding in your life. That said, you're also very welcome to listen for your sun sign, your moon sign, or any placement you feel especially connected to. I also want to invite you to join us for the second annual Awakening Conference, happening September 18th through the 20th. I'll be presenting a master class on Uranus and Gemini through all 12 houses, where we'll explore how this revolutionary 7-year transit will bring awakening, disruption, innovation, and major change depending on where Gemini falls in your natal chart. The early bird registration price is currently only $44 and includes special offers from the presenters, including $33 off any regular priced natal consultation with me. I'll place the registration link in the description box below. And if you're interested in a personal astrology reading, my books are currently open for one-on-one consultations in July. I'm currently offering 15% off all natal consultations through the summer with code SUMMER15. You can read more about my offerings, subscribe to my mailing list, and read my lunar blogs at astrologywitherin.com. All of those links are in the description box below. All right, let's get into the horoscopes for July 2026. Aries, your theme for July, rewriting the future. July may feel like a turning point in how you think about yourself, your future, and the role you want to play in the world around you. Mars conjoins Uranus in your 3rd house at the very beginning of the month, bringing sudden news, unexpected conversations, breakthrough ideas, or a growing desire to speak and act more independently. At the same time, Jupiter in your 5th house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking creativity, self-expression, friendships, and personal identity into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. New opportunities may emerge through creative projects, teaching, writing, children, romance, or simply allowing yourself to take up more space and be seen. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your 4th house of home, family, and emotional foundations. This lunation invites you to reconnect with what supports you beneath the surface and to consider what kind of foundation is needed for the future you're building. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your first house, there may be important reflections around family dynamics, living situations, or long-standing emotional patterns that deserve your attention. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon illuminates your 11th house of community, friendships, and long-term aspirations. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon may reveal shifting dynamics within groups, organizations, or social circles. You may find yourself stepping into a new role, letting go of an old vision, or recognizing that your future is calling for different alliances than it once did. July asks you to balance personal authenticity with collective responsibility. As the future begins taking shape, the question becomes not only who you are becoming, but who you are becoming it alongside. What future feels worth building, and what conversations need to happen in order to bring it into reality? Taurus, your theme for July, building new foundations. July highlights a major shift in your relationship to security, resources, and the future you are working toward. Mars conjoins Uranus in your second house at the very beginning of the month, bringing sudden developments around finances, income, possessions, or your sense of personal worth. At the same time, Jupiter in your fourth house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking money, home, family, career, and inner emotional patterns into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. New opportunities may emerge through a move, family changes, property matters, or a growing desire to create a more supportive foundation for your life. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your third house of communication, learning, and daily interactions. This lunation invites you to pay attention to conversations, information, and the stories you are telling yourself about where life is headed. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your 12th house, old fears, doubts, or unfinished business may surface for review. Sometimes clarity comes not from pushing forward, but from taking time to listen carefully. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon illuminates your 10th house of career, reputation, and public life. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon may reveal significant changes in your personal direction or long-term ambitions. A chapter may culminate, bringing greater awareness of the influence you have and the responsibilities that come with it. July asks you to balance stability with change. As new possibilities emerge, you are being invited to build a future that reflects who you are becoming rather than who you have been. What foundations are strong enough to support the next chapter of your life? Gemini, your theme for July, reinventing yourself. July places you at the center of some of the month's most dynamic astrology. Mars conjoins Uranus in your first house at the very beginning of the month, bringing a surge of energy, independence, and momentum. You may feel restless, inspired, or ready to make significant changes in how you present yourself and move through the world. At the same time, Jupiter in your third house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking communication, identity, friendships, and long-term aspirations into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. New ideas, connections, and opportunities may arrive quickly, encouraging you to think bigger about what is possible and the future you hope to create with others. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your second house of income, resources, and personal values. This lunation invites you to consider what you truly need in order to feel secure and supported. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your 11th house, questions about financial priorities, long-term goals, or commitments to groups and organizations may require thoughtful reflection. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon activates your 9th house of learning, travel, spirituality, and worldview. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon may bring a profound shift in perspective or a deeper understanding of where your path is leading. A belief, educational pursuit, or long-range vision may reach an important turning point. July asks you to trust your capacity to evolve. The future is opening quickly, but meaningful growth begins with the willingness to see yourself and your possibilities differently. What new vision of your life is asking for your attention and commitment? Cancer. Your theme for July, trusting the emerging vision. July invites you to balance reflection with forward movement as significant changes begin taking shape behind the scenes. Mars conjoins Uranus in your 12th house at the very beginning of the month, bringing unexpected insights, vivid dreams, hidden frustrations, or breakthroughs that emerge from the unconscious. At the same time, Jupiter in your 2nd house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking finances, career, identity, and shared resources into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. New opportunities may emerge around income, self-worth, or the talents and gifts you are ready to develop more fully. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your 1st house of identity, personal direction, and self-expression. This is one of the most important lunations of the year, inviting you to reconnect with yourself and set intentions for the chapter ahead. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your 10th house, questions about responsibility, leadership, or career direction may encourage you to move forward with greater clarity and maturity. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon illuminates your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, and transformation. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon may bring deeper truths to the surface regarding financial obligations, emotional bonds, or situations that require trust and vulnerability. Something that has been evolving beneath the surface may now become impossible to ignore. July asks you to honor both the visible and invisible parts of your journey. As larger changes unfold around you, trust that the inner work you are doing now is helping prepare you for what comes next. What part of yourself is ready to emerge as you step into a new chapter of your life? Leo, your theme for July, stepping into a larger story. July marks the beginning of an important new chapter as opportunities for growth, visibility, and self-expression continue expanding. Mars joins Uranus in your 11th house at the very beginning of the month, bringing unexpected developments within friendships, communities, organizations, or long-term goals. At the same time, Jupiter in your 1st house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking your identity, aspirations, beliefs, and relationships into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. You may feel called to embrace a new vision for yourself and the role you want to play in the world. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your 12th house of rest, reflection, and the unconscious. The lunation invites you to slow down, listen inwardly, and pay attention to what is emerging beneath the surface. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your 9th house, questions involving beliefs, education, travel, or long-term plans may benefit from patience and reconsideration before decisive action is taken. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon illuminates your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon may bring significant developments within an important personal or professional relationship. Dynamics that have been evolving over time may now become more visible, requiring honesty, transformation, and a willingness to relate in new ways. July asks you to balance personal growth with the needs of the people around you. As your life expands in new directions, meaningful relationships help reveal who you are becoming. How are your closest relationships helping shape the future you want to create? Virgo, your theme for July, redefining your direction. July highlights major developments in your career, public life, and long-term aspirations. Mars conjoins Uranus in your 10th house at the very beginning of the month, bringing sudden changes, breakthroughs, or opportunities related to your professional path. At the same time, Jupiter in your 12th house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking career matters, inner growth, shared resources, and daily responsibilities into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. You may be preparing for a significant transition, even if all the pieces are not yet visible. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your 11th house of friendships, community, and future goals. This lunation invites you to consider where you belong and what kind of future you are building alongside others. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your 8th house, questions involving trust, shared resources, financial obligations, or deeper emotional commitments may require thoughtful reflection. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon illuminates your 6th house of work, health, and daily routines. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon may reveal where meaningful changes are needed in your habits, schedule, or work environment. A long-standing pattern may reach a turning point, creating space for a more sustainable way of moving through everyday life. July asks you to trust what is developing behind the scenes while remaining open to unexpected opportunities. Not every turning point announces itself immediately, but the future is already beginning to take shape. What daily choices will best support the future you hope to create? Libra, your theme for July, expanding the horizon. July encourages you to think bigger about your future and the possibilities opening before you. Mars conjoins Uranus in your 9th house at the very beginning of the month, bringing unexpected opportunities related to travel, education, spirituality, publishing, or personal growth. At the same time, Jupiter in your 11th house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking friendships, long-term goals, relationships, and creativity into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. New alliances and fresh perspectives may help you envision possibilities that once seemed out of reach. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your 10th house of career, reputation, and public life. This lunation invites you to consider where your professional path is leading and what kind of legacy you want to build. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your 7th house, important conversations with partners, clients, or collaborators may shape decisions about your next steps. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon illuminates your 5th house of creativity, joy, romance, and self-expression. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon may bring a powerful realization about what inspires you and where your heart truly wants to invest its energy. A creative project, romantic connection, or personal passion may reach an important turning point. July asks you to balance long-term ambition with the courage to follow what genuinely excites and inspires you. The future becomes more meaningful when it reflects not only your goals, but also your authentic desires. What vision of the future feels expansive enough to inspire you into action? Scorpio, your theme for July: reimagining what matters. July brings significant developments around shared resources, long-term plans, and the future you are building with others. Mars conjoins Uranus in your 8th house at the very beginning of the month, bringing unexpected shifts involving finances, debts, investments, intimate relationships, or situations that require trust and vulnerability. At the same time, Jupiter in your 10th house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking career, shared resources, daily responsibilities, and home life into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. New professional opportunities may emerge, but they may require you to rethink how your time, energy, and resources are being invested. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your 9th house of learning, travel, spirituality, and worldview. This lunation invites you to broaden your perspective and reconnect with a larger sense of meaning or purpose. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your 6th house, practical obligations, work responsibilities, or health concerns may require adjustments before you move fully toward a new horizon. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon illuminates your 4th house of home, family, and emotional foundations. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon may reveal important changes within your private life or family dynamics. A living situation, family pattern, or emotional reality that has been evolving beneath the surface may now reach a turning point. July asks you to balance ambition with emotional honesty. The future you are building externally must also be supported by foundations that feel stable and authentic internally. What inner foundation needs strengthening in order to support your larger goals? Sagittarius, your theme for July: transforming through relationship. July highlights the powerful role that other people are playing in your growth and evolution. Mars conjoins Uranus in your 7th house at the very beginning of the month, bringing unexpected developments within partnerships, collaborations, or significant one-on-one relationships. New people may enter your life, existing dynamics may shift suddenly, or important conversations may alter the course of a relationship. At the same time, Jupiter in your 9th house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking partnerships, learning, creativity, and communication into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. Expanding your perspective may require openness to ideas and experiences that challenge old assumptions. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, and transformation. This lunation invites you to examine where trust, vulnerability, and mutual support are needed. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your 5th house, questions involving romance, children, creativity, or personal desires may require thoughtful reflection before decisions are finalized. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon illuminates your 3rd house of communication, learning, and daily interactions. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon may bring an important conversation, realization, or shift in perspective. Information that has been developing behind the scenes may finally come into focus, helping you understand a situation in a completely new way. July asks you to remain open to transformation through dialogue and connection. The people you encounter now may help you discover possibilities that would be difficult to see on your own. What relationships are helping you grow into a larger understanding of yourself and your future? Capricorn, your theme for July, rebalancing the exchange. July brings important developments around work, relationships, and the resources you share with others. Mars conjoins Uranus in your 6th house at the very beginning of the month, bringing unexpected changes to your daily routines, work environment, health practices, or responsibilities. At the same time, Jupiter in your 8th house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking shared resources, work, home life, and personal finances into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. New opportunities may emerge through collaboration, financial support, or a deeper understanding of what true reciprocity looks like. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. This lunation invites you to reflect on the quality of your closest one-on-one connections and the role they play in your life. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your 4th house, conversations involving family, living situations, or emotional responsibilities may require patience and careful consideration. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon illuminates your 2nd house of income, resources, and personal values. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon may bring a significant realization regarding finances, self-worth, or what you are willing to invest your energy into moving forward. A financial chapter may culminate, helping you clarify what truly matters. July asks you to create greater alignment between what you give, what you receive, and what you value. Sustainable growth depends on building exchanges that genuinely support your future. Where are you being asked to create a healthier balance between responsibility and reciprocity? Aquarius, your theme for July, becoming more fully yourself. July places you at the center of powerful personal and relational changes. Mars conjoins Uranus in your 5th house at the very beginning of the month, bringing unexpected developments involving creativity, romance, children, or personal passions. You may feel inspired to take a risk, express yourself more boldly, or pursue something that reignites your sense of joy and aliveness. At the same time, Jupiter in your 7th house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking relationships, creativity, communication, and personal transformation into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. Significant people may enter your life, or existing partnerships may begin evolving in important ways. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your sixth house of work, health, and daily routines. This lunation invites you to consider what needs to change in order to create a more sustainable rhythm for yourself. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your third house, conversations, agreements, or day-to-day obligations may require a review before moving forward. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon illuminates your first house of identity, personal direction, and self-expression. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon marks a profound moment of personal transformation. You may recognize how much you have changed, release an old version of yourself, or step more fully into the person you are becoming. Others are likely to notice these shifts as well. July asks you to trust the process of reinvention. As your relationships and circumstances evolve, you are being invited to become a more authentic expression of yourself. What part of your identity is ready to be reclaimed, transformed, or expressed more fully? Pisces, your theme for July, creating space for what matters. July highlights significant changes within your home life, daily routines, and creative self-expression. Mars conjoins Uranus in your fourth house at the very beginning of the month, bringing unexpected developments involving family, living situations, property matters, or your emotional foundations. At the same time, Jupiter in your sixth house forms a series of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, linking work, home, finances, and your inner life into a larger story that continues unfolding throughout the second half of 2026. Adjustments to your schedule, responsibilities, or priorities may ultimately help create a more supportive foundation for future growth. Mid-month, the Cancer new moon activates your fifth house of creativity, joy, romance, and self-expression. This lunation invites you to reconnect with what brings you pleasure, inspiration, and a sense of play. With Mercury retrograde co-present the new moon and Saturn squaring from your second house, questions involving finances, self-worth, or resource management may require reflection as you determine what deserves your time and energy. By the end of the month, the Aquarius full moon illuminates your 12th house of rest, healing, and the unconscious. Closely aligned with Pluto, this full moon may bring hidden emotions, patterns, or realizations into greater awareness. Something that has been operating behind the scenes may finally reveal itself, allowing for release, closure, or deeper understanding. July asks you to balance productivity with restoration. As larger changes unfold in the visible parts of your life, meaningful growth also depends on honoring your need for reflection, healing, and renewal. What would create more space for joy, creativity, and inner peace in your life? Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'd love to hear how this astrology is showing up in your life, so feel free to leave a comment below and let me know what resonated with you most this month. Again, I want to invite you to join us for the second annual Awakening Conference, a live online weekend of masterclasses hosted by the facilitators of Awakening Airwaves and Reiki Radio Podcast. You can join us live via Zoom September 18th through the 20th, and with the All Access Pass, you'll also receive the recordings afterward, along with access to last year's conference recordings as a bonus. As always, If you'd like a more personalized look at your chart and the current transits, my books are currently open for one-on-one consultations. You'll find that link in the description box below as well. And remember to use code SUMMER15 for 15% off. Thank you again for being here. Until next time, take good care, and may you trust the divine timing unfolding in your life.